What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This video is kind of all over the place and a little bit out of context, and that is why I am making the intro that I am. So we took the E36 back to test and tune at KillCare on Thursday last week, and car did great. Didn't get hot, didn't overheat, nothing broke, and my driving got better. And this time I actually got a lot of outside clips thanks to Josh for coming and helping out and also videoing a lot. I appreciate it. But I didn't actually like film a video when I went, so this is just me kind of doing an introduction, and then I'll put the clips that I do have. I did get some in-car footage, and then I did get a lot of out-car footage. Later in the night I ended up putting my stock BMW wheels on, and they have like really balloony tires, and I didn't think they would give me any problems, but it really changed the way the car drove a lot. Basically the tires are like rolling over on the bank and causing it to like kind of grip up too much, and just made it really inconsistent to drive. So I started doing kind of bad once I put those tires on. So lesson learned. I will make sure I come prepared next time with 17s and low pro tires. Those are like 15s, but I'll roll all that footage now, and then I'll catch you up to speed on what we've got going on right now. Well, guys, see if we can get one solid rundown. there you guys go. That was our footage from Test and Tune. Really the biggest thing I'm struggling with currently is coming down off the big bank and into the infield. That turn is really hard for me because the car, well, one, I don't know how to slow down properly, and two, I'm running, I think, too narrow of a line. I think I need to run a wider line with a little more momentum. I think that would help a lot. And two, the car, if I put it in second, it's, you know, on limiter, but if I go third, it bogs in that infield. I can do it in third because I've done it in third. I just have to have that little bit more momentum, but we'll get the kinks worked out the more we go. So, but now to catch you up to speed on what has happened since then. So we got back Thursday night, unloaded the car off the trailer, put it in the back of the shop, and immediately started disassembling it for paint, because as you guys know, the paint job the last time around did not turn out very well, and I refuse to have a messed up paint job when I've put so much time and money in to make sure that car had a straight body. So I decided that, you know, I wanted to get seat time in it, and we'd repaint it in a month or so. So got the car tore apart, masked up and everything on Friday. Came in at about 6 a.m. Saturday morning, continued to mask it off, do some more wet sanding, kind of just finding all the imperfections, making sure the car was super dialed and ready for paint. I planned on painting it Saturday morning, but decided to wait till the sun went down. And you know, so throughout the day, got the car cleaned up, got it ready. Josh came up here and helped wipe the car down with acetone, and then I wiped it down with a tack rag, and we got to spraying, and the car turned out really good. We used a base coat, clear coat this time around instead of the shitty single stage. We went with yellow again, but it's a different color yellow. It's sunshine yellow. If you've never seen the car in person, you probably won't notice a big difference. And then we also decided to spray the car, or I decided to spray the car with a metallic flake over top of the base coat. And I used a metal carrier or flake carrier, or as some call it, an inner coat. It's basically a clear base coat, and I mixed my flake in that, and I sprayed a lot of flake on the car. I think I did about 2 or 3 coats of flake, and then sprayed it with 3 coats of clear. So I will come over and I will show you guys the car and the stuff we used. So as you can see, we got the whole area taped off over here, but the our base coat, I think we threw the can away, but this is the flake carrier or inner coat that we used, and we used a medium reducer. We used a medium drying reducer, which we should have used slow, but I didn't really think that through. And then we used the 5-star Extreme clear coat with a slow reducer because the temperatures were really hot when we painted this car, and you could tell with the base coat that it was drying really fast. So it had to be a fast process. Luckily, when I sprayed the clear, it dried really slow. But the flake, where's our flake? So this is our metallic flake here. It is a 0.05, and the company name is Little Daddy Roth Trippin' Flake, and it's called mustard gas. I know that's, I thought this was no way real, but this is the name of the company. But this is our flake. I did go with a yellow because this is my first time dealing with flake, and I wasn't sure if it would like change the color of the car or how it would react with the color of the car. I should have went with a different color flake so you could see it more from a far distance, but I still love it. It's really hard to see on camera. I'm not sure if the GoPro will pick it up. You'll really notice it once we wet sand and buff the car, but as you can see, it looks like that's just spots in the clear, but that's all metallic flake. So the car turned out great, turned out amazing. I'm super duper happy, super thankful for Trey's grandpa, Doug, for coming up here and showing me the ins and outs of painting a car. The last time I painted the car, I kind of just winged it off of YouTube videos, and it turns out I was making a really big mistake where when I was laying my base coat down, I was going super fast, and it was just kind of, it wasn't laying on thick enough, and I guess I was worried about running it, and he was explaining to me in like temperatures like this, you're not going to run a base coat. So he kind of showed me, and you got to lay it down really thick to get a nice coverage. So once he showed me that, everything kind of went together well. He wasn't here for the clear coat or the flake coat. He just showed me how to do the base coat, and he was pretty confident that I would do fine once I sprayed the base coat and then did all the clearance stuff. Front bumper, I think, turned out the best in my opinion as far as like orange peel and stuff, but that turned out super good. The gun that I used, he actually loaned me some paint guns to use because he didn't want to see me use some cheap junk. He loaned me this Binks manufacturing gun that he said that he sprayed, or he got this gun in 1977, and he sprayed multiple cars with it. Definitely an old school gun. He gave me multiple other guns I could try, but we sprayed my base coat with this and it did really well, and I didn't want to change it up when he wasn't here and then risk messing something up. He told me to spray my clear with this, but he said if I felt comfortable spraying my clear with this, to do it with that. Then he gave me like 3 other guns to use as well, but that's the only gun we used the entire time. And now we're getting on to kind of why I started the video now. So basically, I have, I don't remember how many coats of base coat. I do remember it being a lot more than we expected it to. I thought I was gonna be able to spray this car with 2 base coats because it was already yellow. I thought it would cover fine, but there were some spots where the primer showed through when I was wet sanding. So it took I think it took like 4 coats of base. I can't remember exactly, but then we put, I want to say 2 or maybe 3 coats of our inner coat or flake carrier. And then after that, we sprayed 3 coats of clear on the car, which 3 coats of clear is a pretty decent amount. But what happened is basically the flake is not completely buried by the clear. If you run your hand over the panels, you can still just barely feel the flake under the clear coat, which is kind of expected. It's not a huge deal. The great news is it's in the clear stage. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wet sand the whole car down with 600, and then we're gonna spray this thing with probably like another 3 or 4 coats of clear. The only reason I'm deciding to go so extreme is because I know this car is gonna get beat up. I know it's gonna get dinged and hit and scratched. So I wanna make this thing as tough as I can. And I wanna have plenty of room for buffing, and I don't have to worry about burning through the paint or the clear or anything like that. So, and on top of that, once we wet sand it and clear it again, it's gonna have such a nice finish. It'll totally be worth the time and effort. So, and there are some imperfections that we need to buff out. Like, I think this fender got a sag in it. Oh, the sag kind of dried out, it looks like. Well, there is a sag line right here that you can barely see. And then there's also bugs. There's a bug there. There's a bug here, a bug here, and there's like 3 bugs in the roof. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bugs in the roof alone. It's funny, I never noticed bugs in this shop until I started painting my car. So yeah, that's kind of the brief overview. I know it's a lot of talking, but from this point I'm just gonna kind of wet sand the car. I'm not gonna film that because you guys have seen me sand plenty of times, but we're gonna wet sand the car down with 600. I gotta go pick up some more clear coat and then spray some more clear on this thing. So I'm stoked. I'm excited to see what this thing looks like all put back together. And I may or may not have some chrome wheels for it as well. So maybe you'll see that in this video, maybe you won't, maybe you'll see it in the next video, but I do have chrome 18s for this car that I plan on putting on it. So I don't plan on drifting on it, but it will be like a set of street wheels. So with that being said, guys, we're gonna start this sanding process. Okay, so I'm really trying not to get my hopes up, because I do this every time, where like I see the light at the end of the tunnel and then I rush things and then it ends up messed up. But I'm thinking that I may not have to spray more clear on this car. So the original reason that I, decided to spray more clear on the car was because I felt like I could still feel the flake in the clear, which must not have been the case, because once we started sanding, after the first coat, after just scuffing it down once for like 3 seconds, you couldn't feel it anymore. And the panels are just coming out extremely smooth. So in theory, in my head, if that was the flake that I could feel, you would still feel it after wet sanding. If anything, you'd feel it more. And so I did the top of the trunk. The trunk came out super smooth, and I was like, okay, well, let me find like one of the worst panels and wet sand it. So we started on the hood. The hood's coming out extremely smooth. So I'm thinking that we might not have to put more clear on this car, but I want to get the whole car scuffed down, make sure that every panel ends up being that way, and if so, we'll be in the green. Then we can pull all our masking stuff off. So yeah, so I just talked to Doug, and he knows all about this stuff. So he kind of agrees with me. He thinks that if it's sanding out smooth, there's no point in re-clearing it. Obviously, we both agree that having more clear to play with is always a benefit. There's no negative to that. And personally, like, money isn't really the issue with going and buying more clear. It's kind of time. I'd be lying if I said that I did want the car to be sitting longer. I really want to go drift it Thursday, so the faster this process goes, the better, in my opinion. But yeah, so he pretty much agrees with me. He thinks that I should buff this trunk out and see if I see any like imperfections. And he said if you don't see any imperfections and it doesn't look wonky or anything, then just call it good and be done. So I actually don't personally own an orbital buffer. I borrowed his last time, so I own a rotational buffer, but you can really mess things up with those if you don't know what you're doing, and obviously I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna go buy a buffer, go buy some compound and stuff, and buff this trunk out. And once the trunk is buffed out, we'll kind of know what we got to do. The left hand side of the hood is completely buffed out. We still have to do the rest of the car, so the rest of the hood as well. But it's just sanding out so smooth. Like, this is night and day difference. For anyone watching this that thinks that is getting ready to paint their car and they're considering using single stage, for the love of God, do not do it. Don't even waste your time with that junk. Spend the extra money, do the base coat, clear coat, and call it a day. Just take my word for it. But yeah, we're gonna dive right back in. Just went out, bought this orbital buffer, 6-inch. I don't really care for Meguiar's, but this is all they carried. I prefer 3M or something similar to that. Got some buffing pads. This is just stuff to kind of see how the car is going to look. I plan on buying better stuff or better compound to hit the whole car with, but we'll see how I like this buffer. It was $100, which is kind of cheap in terms of buffers, but it'll work for what I need it for, and should be a nice buffer. But so far so good. Nothing real bad has popped up yet, so we shall see how things go. But I'm gonna call it tonight quits, and I'll see you guys, and then I'll see you guys the next day, which will be a couple seconds for you. Okay, so can't remember where we left off, but I got this whole side of the car completely sanded down. The issue is I sanded it with 600 grit, which makes it faster for sure, but I was sanding it at 600 because that's what I was told to do. But that was because the person that told me that thought that I was gonna be re-clearing the car, so I was wet sanding it to be sprayed with to be re-cleared. So realistically, I should have been sanding the car with like 1500 to 2000 grit, and so now I have to get all those scratches out from the 600. As you can see, I've attempted to buff the hood, but you can still see all the scratches from the 600, which isn't a huge deal. We'll get it buffed out. But the roof we got done, and it turned out sick. Like, it's not perfect. I purposely didn't go over the top with getting all the orange peel out, because this isn't a show car, so I don't. But as I was saying before my battery died, this isn't a show car, so I don't need some crazy smooth finish. There's still a little bit of orange peel in it, but it's pretty freaking nice, dude. I mean, that's all flake up there. So the roof is the only panel that is actually buffed and done. We haven't even touched this entire side of the car. The hood, the passenger fender and passenger door, we will have to fix our 600 grit scratches, and then also the top of the trunk too. We have to fix our 600 grit scratches, but even in the trunk you can see all the flake. But the reason I started making this clip is because, as you'll see, the car is back together, all the tape's peeled off and everything, and that is because we are going to go drift it. I don't really care if the car's half buffed. I would rather drive it, so we're just gonna send it half buffed and go drift this thing and see how that goes, I guess. But that is going to be the end of this video. Maybe you'll see another video of us drifting it, because we did get a new tune for the car, which I will go over more in the next video, but just wanted to update you guys. So that is it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.